What's up, everyone? This is Ton, and it's time for another celebrity reading. All right, so we're going to take a look at one of the most trending couples that are out right now, and that is no other than Simone and Jonathan. Okay, now just to kind of give a recap, Jonathan recently did an interview that was very controversial in nature, and they are currently like top on the list of couples being talked about. So only makes sense that I would do a reading on them. So let's take a look. We got Simone and Jonathan. Simone, she is a 7 or 8 time gold medalist. Jonathan is a football player, I believe, for the Packers, right? And again, I think most people didn't even know that she was married up until here recently. So, a lot of people have a lot to say. You have people that are telling her to leave her husband because of the comments that he has said. You have a plethora of stuff going on. So, I want to take a look and see what's really going on within them, within their relationships and their dynamics and all of that. So, you ready? Ready to take this ride with me? All right, cool. All right, so first, what I like to do is when I'm doing couples readings, is I like to take a look at everybody individual because even though you are a couple, even though you are a team, even though you are one, you're still an individual, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at Miss Simone. All right, now Simone, she has this feel about her that is very light. She is a water sign, right? And she is a 3 times Pisces, right? So that's a lot of water, a lot of energy, a lot of creativity, all right? But we all know that with Pisces, they do tend to see things with rose-colored glasses. They tend to see things as they want to see them and not necessarily as how they are. Okay. Now, with that 3 times Pisces, that's the Pisces Sun, Pisces Mercury, Pisces Venus. All right. So that's going to tell me that she's going to communicate in that same fashion, right? Again, we have creativity, we have a certain level of spirituality in along those lines, and then we have the energy of delusion, right? That's what Pisces can bring, energy of delusions. Now, I do see that her Gemini is waxing, all right, and her moon is Gemini. So with a waxing Gemini moon, that's telling me that she is, outgoing. She's probably like she gets along well with people. She can talk about many different topics. She likes stimulating conversation. Probably a variety of different things, right? Let's take a look at now. Looking at her Virgo, right? Her Virgo, uh, Mars is in her Virgo. And so, what that tells me is that she may be very assertive in her words, in her critique, right? With her Saturn being in Aries, that tells me that she's disciplined in her physical accomplishments. Let's take a look. What else about Miss Simone? Her Jupiter is Aquarius. All right, so she may have an unusual way of seeing things or just how she experienced things, right? She may not see experiences as other people do. She may see them as she may be more upbeat or jovial about her different experiences. And she may translate them into being a little different in what someone else might see. Now, taking a look at her north and south node. Now, her north node is in Virgo, right? So that's telling me that she's moving towards she's moving towards perfection. She's moving towards being analytical, being more, what's the word? Intentional, right? But that south node in Pisces is telling me that in this life she is to move away from seeing things as she does, right? She's being challenged with her north and south node to see things as they are, not how she wants them to uh, be, not setting herself up for failure, but looking at things through an analytical mind and lens and frames so that she can move towards, that next chapter, that next, she can learn those lessons in this life, right? And so with her Scorpio and Chiron, that tells me that she may have experienced some pain regarding betrayal, discipline, or not discipline, but betrayal, disappointment, um, something along that line. It could potentially be some type of a sexual, what's the word I want to say, trauma. It could or could not be. It could be a lot with Scorpio. It could be, like I said, betrayal, the feeling of not being able to trust people. All right. Let's see. What I feel with her is just an overall sweet energy. I don't see any particular. I mean, her Saturn is in Aries, like I said, so that it could mean that she's very disciplined in her physical. She's an athlete, so her physical athleticism, that type of deal. And then she can be very disciplined and very stern in some of her actions and some of her ways, some of her movements. Okay. But I think that overall she's a really sweet girl, has good intentions. Um, I don't see anything particularly standing out to say, oh my God, she's probably a horrible, horrible person. So, all right, let's take a look at Mr. Johnathan. All right, Mr. Johnathan, he is turning 29 this year, July 22nd. All right. He is a triple Cancer, right? So their relationship is like, it's like just nothing but water. And I really hope that it don't sink with all this water, but we'll take a look at that. But his Sun is Cancer, Mercury is Cancer, Venus is Cancer, right? And so we know that, we tease with the Cancers that the Cancers are the crybabies of the zodiac because they're very intense, very emotional, and they feel a lot. Now, as to where Simone's Gemini moon is waxing, his Gemini moon is waning, right? So he may not have as much of an emotional outward display, right? He may he may not be as social as she is. He may not be as emotionally in tune as she, because of that, where that placement, that moon placement is, because the moon is emotions. The moon is how you express your feelings. Uh, let's see, with that Mercury, that Mercury and that Venus, what that tells me is that he communicates from an emotional standpoint, right? His communication is from an emotional standpoint. It's deep, it runs deep, but it's very is from his feelings, right? It may not necessarily come from like facts or what have you. His Venus is in Cancer, right? So he may be clingy to someone that he's really attached to. He may be uh, maybe clingy. He might be very clingy in relationships, and he may require a certain emotional fulfillment, more of an emotional fulfillment than someone who doesn't have that placement, that Cancer Venus placement. With his Mars, and it's in Libra, right? And it's at a 0 degree, so it's very, very young. And so what that tells me is, as far as assertion and aggression, he may be a little bit more young or youthful, as well as he may not have been able to like master his emotions. They're in Libra, so I believe that he tries to balance it out. He tries to balance his energies, his Mars energies out. But I think with it being in such a young degree, he is still learning. And they're both young. They're both very, very young. They're not even 30 yet. Let's see. So with his Jupiter in Sagittarius, I mean, it's home, right? So he's probably a sweet person, very jovial, very optimistic. Um, he probably likes a variety, maybe not necessarily want to be tied down, but likes to move about, freely. Sagittarius like to move about the world freely, and he's bringing that energy with that Jupiter. His Saturn is in Pisces, right? Or his Pisces is in Saturn, right? And that's telling me that as far as discipline, he's not as disciplined as he probably could be or should be. With that Pisces Saturn placement, he may not see things as they are. He may see things through a very mature lens. He may not have been able to discipline himself in a manner in which those his age may have acquired, or those that's within his peer group. Let's see. With his North and South Node, North Node Scorpio, South Node Taurus. So with that North Node in Taurus and in Scorpio, what that is telling me is that he is moving towards transforming into becoming someone that he's not, right? Focusing on maybe even his spirituality, maybe his internal depth, and trusting people. He may not trust people, right? With that South Node, what that's telling me is that he should have learned the lesson of being grounded, of being centered, of being uh, more stationary, to be he should have learned these lessons, right? So he is to move away from possessions or things that are tangible, that are he may be very focused on materialism. And in this lifetime, he is to focus more on being spiritual and transforming and evolving, and not necessarily like focusing on money and gain and that type of deal, right? Now, his Chiron is in Virgo. So Chiron brings about a wound that really can't heal. So with that Virgo placement, that's telling me that he may have experienced some type of trauma, being belittled, being like really critiqued. He may be very sensitive in that aspect, and that is what is hard for him now, being analyzed and critiqued and picked apart, right? That is hurts what hurts him now, or in this lifetime. All right, so let's take a look at what they look like next to each other, right? All right, so of course, again, we got a triple Pisces, lots of water, lots of, and I hate to use the word delusional, but dreamland, dreamy. You're living at this fairy tale uh, mindset, vantage point, communicating. You communicate. She communicates as if she's, in a fairy tale. Everything is, and you can look at that video of the interview. She's enamored. She's smitten over him, right? And she's right now she's living in this fantasy, this bubble of, oh my God, I have this nice looking tall, athletic guy, and it's just, where's her? Let me see, where's her? That is in, yeah. So, and she kind of romanticizes relationships, right? Because her Libra is located in her Pisces house, right? So she can fantasize over relationships, right? And then you have, again, this triple Cancer gentleman, right? And moving with emotions and feelings and moodiness and, all of that. Now his Mars, let's see, is located in his Cancer house, right? So his whole relationship is going to be based on how he feels and how he feels at the moment, because that Cancer moves. Cancer is ruled by the moon, and the moon moves super quick, right? And so his moods may move with the moon, right? And they may be a little bit difficult for her to kind of keep up with, but she may just fantasize it away as opposed to just looking at it head on, right? That is until that that is until that Uranus, who brings about certain changes, kicks in. Now, Venus, what she needs in a partner is someone who that she can dream with, that she can share her dream with, that she can be enamored with, that can bring all of her fantasies, make them come true. She needs someone that she can communicate with on a spiritual, a psychological, like the depth is part of her. She needs that. That's how she gives love, and that's how she wants love to be received. As to where he again is ruled by the moon, right? And so he needs his partner to be able to ride with his moods and understand his moods. And they're gonna be like, he's gonna be able to he's gonna communicate moody. Like his whole demeanor is like just two. It's just nothing but two. And I think that can be a clash. It could be a clash. If communication is clear, it could work. But if you got someone who is in dreamland and someone who is kind of moody communicating, it can cause some problems. Now, I do realize that in one of the other interviews that she did, she mentioned that in as far as like their athletic capability in comparison, they just decided they wouldn't have that conversation, right? So that indicates that they do have the ability to have conversations and come to some type of an agreement, right? With the Saturn placement that they have, which is listed here, I believe that she will be able to maintain that, but with him having that Pisces Saturn placement, he doesn't really have a strong grasp on rules, regulations, boundaries as to where she is able to do that. All right, so let's take a look at their charts. We're going to take a look at their charts next to each other, right? Now, I know I got to spin it, so you ain't going to be able to take a look at it as well, but I'll be able to take a look at it. Bonus time. And so, actually, let me pull up one other thing here just so I can look at it from another standpoint. So just bear with me. But I do believe that their relationship is very young, right? Looking chart wise, she is more mature than he is just from the placements that she has. I'm trying to talk and do two things at the same time. I mean, anytime that you have like Saturn and you have that Aries placement, it could, like I said, indicate a disciplined physical regimen. You know what I'm saying? So, actually, let me pull this chart up here because I can't look at it spinning around. Okay, so when I take a look at their synastry, right? It's interesting. It's interesting. Oh wait, hold on. Okay, there we go. Because they're close in age, a lot of their what do you call it? Generational planets are the same, right? But when you look at their charts next to each other, and I guess next time I'll leave it so it won't be spinning, so it'll make a little bit more sense. A lot of their placements are touching, are very, very close, right? Now, the one thing that stands out with me with them is the Gemini, right? Again, hers is waxing. It's growing as it moves through the course, and his is waxing, right? And so what I see in this relationship is that she's always going to be the bigger person. She's always going to be the bigger personality. I have no qualms when people call themselves the catch, but in this realm during this particular time, she is the bigger personality, and it just is what it is. What I see with the way with their charts on top of each other is that her way of communicating with him is he's going to see that as her doing too much, right? Because her Mercury is conjunct his Saturn, right? And that is, I think, it's going to be a lot of energy that he's not ready for, because again, his pain in this life is being critiqued, right? And she is a disciplined type of person that is able to handle critique, right? And I'm not saying that being a football, because I would imagine as a football you have to be critiqued, right? But I now mind you, I'm not athletic in any way, shape, form, or fashion, right? I would imagine that a sport to where it's you against you as opposed to you working with a team is a little bit more intense, because you can kind of fall back on your team, or your team can kind of fall back on you, as to where if it's just you got to be 100%, right? And with their Mars conjunct each other, that's friction. It's It's like contest and all of that. When you have that amount of Mars that close to each other, there is conflict. There is some type of conflict, and that placement is like located right in between their house of partnership and their house of the Virgo. So critiquing and analyzing each other, right? So I think that that may be a sore spot there. Now, what I see is, let's see, let me take a look at some other placements here. So her Pluto is conjunct his Saturn. I mean, his Jupiter. Her Pluto, which is in retrograde, so that's going to be more internalized energy. It look like his Jupiter is in retrograde as well, and it's in their house of Sagittarius, right? And so they could be a very good. They could bring about a certain level of transformation uh, to each other, right? They could be a very good couple if they like a lot of it's going to come with being mature, like and personal discipline, right? But with this placement with their Pluto and Jupiter conjunct in Sagittarius, they could potentially do great things, right? They don't have to be at odds. They don't have to be at war with each other, right? They have the ability to get along and to be what the other one needs. I'm not certain the level of discipline that's needed in order for that to happen is there, because it's going to take both parties to to make this relationship work. Simone has a lot of mature placements, a lot of um, higher degree placements, and he has some younger degree placements. And so I think that there is an imbalance. Let's see, where is her Uranus? Her Uranus, and so her Uranus and Neptune, both they're conjunct. Their Uranus and Neptunes are conjunct, right? So they bring about a certain level of energy, but they might both be like marinating in confusion, in delusion, I guess I should say. And with her Jupiter right there, like it's like she's a little bit more delusional than he is, but they're both like equally delusional. They're like both equally delusional for this. And I don't know if I can say that I see any particular like perfect placements to say, oh, they're perfectly made for each other. I do believe that they're going to need to work on it. They're going to need to have a lot of communication and not allow emotions to control their relationship and not allow their preconceived notions of the other one to get in the way they really need to see things as it is. They really need to see things as it is. right? And I think that with both of them having uh, their moon in Gemini, I don't I'm not certain that they're being totally honest, right? And I do believe that they're not as delusional. They are delusional. Now, don't get me wrong. They are a sense of delusion, and we all are as human beings, right? But they're. I don't believe that they're going to get to the place, or they're at the place at this point, because everybody has the opportunity to grow, that they're going to feel that they can just tell each other anything. I don't see that placement where they're going to be like best friends and they can tell each other anything and all of this and all of that. And because I think that someone's going to get in their feelings, someone's going to be um, triggered, someone is going to, take it the wrong way. I don't know. Their chart, their dynamic is very, very interesting. Um, I wish them the best. I think that if she can continue to put on those rose colored glasses through his emotional ups and downs, and then they'll probably be okay. But I think that he may require more emotional, like, I think he's going to be too much for her emotionally. Not, I mean, you dealing with a Pisces, so she's got a lot of emotions too. It's just, I feel like, okay, so the overall feeling that I feel with them is just, it's a lot of water. It's a lot of drowning. I feel like I'm like underwater, not drowning, but underwater. When I tap into their feel, I feel it's a lot. I do feel that she does care about him, and I think that she is his friend. Do I see? Let me take a look one more time. Let me just take a look. Let's see, her son. And see, so what they say is that one of the best placements is if, like, say for instance, her son is Pisces, it would have been good if his moon was Pisces, or his is Cancer if her moon was Cancer, or something like. And they really don't have that flip flopness, right? It's like they're holding their own on their own sides. It's not really like a lot of the couple charts that I see. There's blending, like her sun, his Venus is the same. And they really don't have that. They really don't have a lot of that. I don't really see a lot of soulmate connections, you know. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to be negative. I will say that this is an interesting dynamic, right? Um, do I think it's going to last? I'm going to have to say, respectfully, no. Now, I could be wrong. I could be wrong as two left shoes. And really, I hope that I am wrong, because I love love, right? And I see the look in her eyes, right? I see the look in her eyes. I see that Libra in that Cancer house that's wanting love, that's wanting that perfect life, right? That perfect happily ever after. But then I see his Libra placement in Cancer, and I just see a lot of moodiness, a lot of, I don't want to say sassy talk, but a lot of moodiness. So with astrology, it tells the placements and the energy and the influences, right? But it's not definitely solid. This is how it has to be, because we are, as long as we're alive, we get the chance to make choices and choose different things, and we get to evolve and grow and all of that, right? So they can very well mature, grow, and evolve. Neither one of them have even had their first Saturn return, right? So they're not really functioning from a full, what is it, frontal lobe mindset. They're still dealing with things and processing things from a less mature standpoint. So can that change once they hit that Saturn return and, adulting from a energetic standpoint kicks them in the ass and, potentially. But right now, a lot of work is going to have to be done, as with any relationship, right? Um, I don't know. I just don't feel the warm and fuzziness inside. You know, I don't feel that, but I do wish them the best. Um, I wish them the best. I wish them much success. I do wish and put over them that anything that is done in the dark or hidden, or anything that's not, that it's be revealed. And I want them both to be happy, even if it's not together. I want them, they're together, so I want them to be together. But even if it's not together, I want them both to experience happiness. So I don't know, y'all. We'll have to come back to this and see what happens as it progresses on. But much success to them, and happy 2024 to them and to each one of you all. Make sure you hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.